Hey guys, today we're going to tackle a skill that we have learned in Miss Roden's class before. So we are going to be looking for the problem and the solution of this passage, okay? So find a comfy spot and go ahead and slant and get ready to listen. Remember, we're listening for a problem and then we're listening for a solution that was found. The mysterious visitor. Frank lived far out in the country. He owned a simple farm and lived a simple life. He had a barn full of cows that provided him milk and meat. Frank had just one friend, Henry, and that was all he needed. Henry was a good friend and they had a lot in common. Henry lived right down the road from Frank. He also owned a little farm where he grew vegetables, and he had enough cattle to meet his needs. Both Frank and Henry were content until one morning a stray calf stood between their homes. Frank said, "I'll get that calf to my barn." Henry said, "That calf arrived on my land first. By all rights, the calf belongs to me." For some reason, both men became stubborn. Neither would give in. They stopped talking and they each stomped off to their own houses, where they went about their business. Days went by and neither Frank nor Henry would reach out to one another. Henry set out to separate their land so no cattle could cross from one property to the other. He worked for days to dig a ditch on the property line. Slowly, the ditch began to fill with water. Soon there was a little creek running between their homes. Now neither man could walk from his door to visit his neighbor. One morning, a mysterious visitor arrived at Frank's door. He had a horse with a small wagon and a toolbox, and a gentle look in his eyes. The mysterious visitor told Frank that he could build most anything, but he had no food and he was hungry. Frank had grown lonely since he no longer talked to Henry. He invited the visitor to have dinner with him. Frank enjoyed having someone to talk to once again. Wanting the mysterious visitor to stay a while, Frank stated that he had an important job that needed to be done. So he would no longer see his neighbor's house. Frank asked the young man to build a tall fence along the creek. The mysterious visitor listened to Frank's story and then he asked for lumber. Frank told the young man that he could use anything from the barn. Early in the morning, the young man got to work. He said this, "I work alone. You must wait until my job is complete to come and see my magnificent work." Frank agreed and he waited impatiently. He knew the mysterious visitor was hard at work as he heard sawing and hammering all through the day. As the sun was about to set, the mysterious visitor invited Frank to come and see his masterpiece. Much to Frank's surprise, the visitor had built not a fence, but a bridge. The bridge reached from one side of the creek to the other. As Frank stood in confusion, Henry walked to the middle of the bridge. He held his hand out and said, "I'm sorry about our disagreement, Frank. The calf is yours. I just want us to become friends once again." With a tear in his eye, Henry reached for Frank's hand and replied, "We both have all we need. Let's give the calf to the penniless family down the road." I asked this young man to build a fence, but he built a bridge instead. I am mighty glad he did. Henry reached out to shake Frank's hand. As he did, the anger that had been between them melted away. Henry and Frank turned to thank the mysterious visitor, but he was packing his wagon and heading down the road. They invited him to stay, but he said with a smile, "My work here is done. I must go on my way, for there are many more bridges to build."